Alright, so during the Tesla update, TDS also dropped their biggest tower balance update, and today we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the starter category. For starter towers, we have Paintballer, Demoman, Soldier, Militant, and Shotgunner. Let's start with Paintballer. Paintballer is now way more spammable than before. They changed its placement footprint size to better differentiate it from Demoman, and they also buffed its splash capabilities, including the max hits and splash radius. So basically, Paintballer is now an early game spam tower. It's easier to place, has better splash, but its damage was nerfed, meaning it falls off later in the game. It's strong early on, but you're not meant to rely on it long term. Next, we have the Demoman. Demoman receives a splash capabilities buff in order to be more useful to new players and to hold its own against towers like Soldier or Militant. Properly serves as a beginner's first splash centered tower, with increased splash radius and faster fire rate across most levels. Demoman is basically the upgraded version of Paintballer. It's obviously more expensive, but if you want a stronger Paintballer, then Demoman is the next step. It's not cheap, but it gives you better performance overall, especially once you move past the early game. Next, Soldier receives a buff to keep up with the other beginner towers, serves as a decently ranged burst tower in contrast to Militant. So for Soldier, almost everything got buffed, except for the price on levels 2 and 3. On level 4, Soldier now gets flying detection, which is actually a big change. This means you don't really need to use Golden Soldier anymore just for flying detection, although you do have to upgrade the tower to level 4 to get it. And then we have the Militant. Militant is met with changes that make it stand out more as the de facto standard early game tower. So in short, Militant can now be considered the baseline early game tower. If you're looking for the best starter tower besides Soldier, this one easily fills that role. And then lastly, we have the Shotgunner. Shotgunner has been shifted to the starter category and tweaked as such in order to combat overlapping roles with Assassin and help with new player progression. Usage is moved into mid or late game with powerful crowd control, becoming more reliable as it is upgraded. First, Shotgunner has been moved from the intermediate category to the starter category. Its price was also reduced from 1,000 coins down to just 400 coins. There's now a placement limit of only 9 towers, which means spamming Shotgunners is no longer possible, especially for players trying to grind faster. This change allows new players to access this type of tower much earlier, giving them strong crowd control right from the start. While some of these changes are technically nerfs, that's actually a good thing overall, since the goal is to make Shotgunner more accessible for early game players. Shotgunner can still be a solid tower, but with the placement limit in place, you're definitely more limited in how you can use it. So that's all for the starter category. For me, I think Paintballer is my favorite. Upgrades are cheap, placing it is cheap, and now that it's more spammable, it's super helpful for new players. And remember, this is just the starter category. We're going through all the tower categories one by one, so later today we'll dive into the intermediate towers. Stay tuned for that, and also please subscribe.